Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at property address 21867 Southwest Regal Court here in Beaverton. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the house, located just to the left of the front door. We're going to do a 3-inch ABS cleanout. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. There's our front doorway there, just off to the left. We are coming in here post hydrojet. Lots of water's been down the line. We're going to run this dry here for a moment just so we have a better view of everything. Off we go. All right, so I wanted to just cover this really quick here. I'd seen the other video where the other fella had talked about this. What that appears to be there is just a toilet bolt. As far as I can tell, that's what it looks like. Anyway, it moves around. It's mobile. It at some point it may very well break loose on its own. But the little item there is so small. It sits so flat on the flow line. You can see that it only juts up maybe, I don't even know if it's even hardly a half of an inch. You'd have to be flushing something rather large and outrageous down the line for that to actually contribute to a blockage. It's just too small. And for the most part, it's not terribly jagged. So at some point, something may snag onto it and bust it loose, but as it sits, it's not really doing anything at all to affect functionality. It's not a reason I would go to drain clean the sewer line on its own. Let's put it that way. All right, little belly here, or at least thus far it's little. We're starting here at about 40 feet. Camera is upside down here at the moment. Pushing up over about an inch of water there, getting a little deeper than that now. The flow line here is essentially spotless. The particulate that's floating around there is extremely small. And then in and amongst the standing water there, we just transitioned over to cast iron. Now back to 3034. And there's the main there at about 85 feet. All right, we're going to go ahead and reel the camera back in here. Line was already drained out, so we don't need to wait for that. So, other than that little tiny bolt there, which I really don't think is worth trying to beat on, just as small as it is. The line is spotless as it sits right now. Very thoroughly cleaned out. And this is a unique sewer line here that you're in cast iron out to this distance, and that's generally a good thing. Cast iron holds up for quite a long time. Most homes of this era would have had concrete pipe out in the roadway, and it does not hold up anywhere near as good as cast iron does. Now, standing water there dissipates off at about 63, 64 feet. It's one of the other plus sides with something like cast iron. In concrete pipe, for instance, when you get settling, it's a little more concerning because the pipe does not have hardly any flexibility to it at all. Cast iron is a different story. It's a much more robust pipe product. Pipe joints are a lot stronger. It tends to remain intact, typically speaking, when there is some level of settling. And as we go along here, I'm not seeing any areas in the line that are damaged or broken, albeit it's settled. I don't see anywhere where the line showing any evidence or sign that it's busted open to the ground or anything of that sort. And all that remains in the belly here is extremely fine particulate. What you're seeing floating in the water there are about the size of pinheads, if not smaller. It's very exaggerated when you're using a camera like this. Anyway, clean and clear there. And all the pipe appears to be intact and in good shape. As it relates to how to keep a line clean, I've been doing this 13 years now. I've cameraed almost 25,000 lines, done a lot of drain cleaning and repairs and whatnot. And, you know, the best thing you can do for your sewer line in general is not putting cooking oil and grease down the line. Yeah, I tried to take a whack at it. My camera doesn't even grab a hold of it. If it's not even snagging my camera head, that's not something that's going to be snagging onto debris terribly easily. Everything just goes right over the top of it. It's just tucked into a perfect little notch there. Anyway, the most consistent item you're going to see hanging up in any level of standing water is cooking oil and grease. Now, if you can keep improper items out of the line, stuff that should not go down your line to begin with, you're not feeding the line anything that can really build up. Anything else that goes down there that is proper is something that disintegrates on its own, like toilet paper. But the grease is the big one. Just wipe your pans out with a paper towel, pour your grease into a jar, and keep the line clean. Alrighty. Clean sewer line.